You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, ladies? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's late lounge chat. I hope everybody's doing well. I've come to the realization that it's better for me to record really late at night. Being that I started my own business, it's very, very hard to record and upload throughout the day, because that is mostly when I have most of my classes going. So nevertheless, that's what I've been working on. If y'all are not aware, I did start my own VIP agency for individuals who are court ordered or court mandated to take classes in family domestic violence for men and women, and also anger management. That is what I do now. Also, I provide those services not just in the state of Georgia, but in any state within the United States. So if you or anyone you know is court mandated to take anger management or family domestic violence, you're more than welcome to email me and register with me, and I will be more than glad to assist you. But we'll save all of that for another time. So anyway, let me get into the situation at hand. So it's been going viral. Everybody's been talking about it, and it's a very, very common issue. You know, for those of you who have been hiding up under the rocks and not really keeping up with what's been going on. Well, unfortunately, there's this young lady by the name of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, who unfortunately life was just damaged from the start. And I will say that some of us are just given a raw deal, you know. And as many times as we like to complain about, you know, we probably grew up not having the best of things, you know, we probably didn't get to attend the colleges and the universities that we wanted to attend because our parents didn't have the money. All of these things that we think that we were deprived on, there are some young people out there who have been deprived of the simple things. Something as simple as just being a child. Things that we take for granted. Things that we don't consider a blessing. If you were able to be a child, consider that a blessing. You was able to go to your prom. You was able to get your first car, get your first boyfriend, you know, experience, you know, your first kiss, things of that nature. Consider it a blessing. A lot of these young women out here, even more so today, but this has been going on for centuries, but it's being exposed even more now thanks to social media. There's a lot of young women who will never ever really get that blessing of experiencing what it's like to just be a child. Why? Because you have mothers like this, which I like to call the undesirable peasants. When you have an undesirable peasant who is more concerned or infatuated with having a man in her life, regardless of his criminal history, regardless of his mental well-being, regardless of his upbringing, just the fact that he's willing to be your man, willing to give you attention, willing to be around you, is enough for you to be a willing participant in allowing this individual to be around a child who in turns end up not only just being robbed of her innocence, but also being robbed of her life. So it's a lot surrounding this situation, right? So just to kind of give y'all a little insight as to what's going on with the situation, in case you have not been aware of it. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. I'm not going to read the whole article. A preliminary examination for a man charged in the murder of missing 13-year-old 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 Harris continued Tuesday. Jarvis Butts, 42, of Detroit, is charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexual abuse activity. 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 was last seen getting off a school bus at the corner of Cornwell and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9, 2024. Her body has not been found. Butts, who dated 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's biological aunt, is accused of sending sexually explicit text messages in September 2022 and having an inappropriate relationship with the teen. According to phone records, he became aware in November 2023 that 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 was pregnant. 8 witnesses, including 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's grandmother and aunt, testified Monday during a preliminary exam. 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's aunt, Shannon Harris, testified that she did not suspect anything beyond a normal uncle-niece bond between Butts and 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. I bet you she didn't. Going back down on, hold on, make sure I ain't losing my place. Okay, so going down. On Tuesday, one of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's young cousins testified about being in the room with another cousin while Butts took advantage and had sex with 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. The cousin said it wasn't the first time she witnessed Butts coercing sex on her cousins. She testified that he tried to make advances towards her at one point, but she was able to say no after recognizing what he was trying to do. The teen's adult cousin, Roxy, described seeing Butts in court and hearing the allegations. I don't have nice words necessarily for that, but obviously I have to be strong for my family, I have to be strong for 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, and I'm putting my trust in the justice system, Roxy told CBS. Additionally, an expert in phone record forensics and cell tower mapping presented a timeline of where they tracked Butts' phone between the time 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 went missing and the following 36 hours. The expert testified that data showed Butts' phone sometime after 4 p.m. on January 9th at his shop on Corner Street. Between that time and a little before 7:30, the data showed the phone's location heading to 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, consistent with what one witness testified on Monday about seeing 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 with Butts. Further analysis showed more activity from his cell phone near his shop near once again between 8:22 p.m. Get rid of this, and 9 p.m. on January 9th. The expert then testified that Butts' phone activity showed near the Park Crest Inn and Harper Woods. 2 witnesses on Monday testified that Butts would allegedly take women to have sex. Another exhibit showed Butts' phone activity between 11:40 p.m. on January 10th and 1:30 a.m. on January 11th near the area of 7 Mile and Burn Roads. It is the same location where crews searched for 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's body. They never found her, but they did find a jacket, pink onesie, and black Nike shoes that matched what witnesses described the teen wearing what she was wearing when she went missing. We are responding to a missing person, Border Patrol Agent Wyatt Barnes told the court on Tuesday. I was searching the river bank of River Rouge. We were searching south along the bank. I was on the east side of the bank in the 7 Mile and Berg area. Butts has also been charged with sexual abuse of 2 other girls in separate cases. The full day of witness testimony is expected on Wednesday. Okay, y'all. So anyway, that was a lot to read, but the story is going to continue to get interesting, and it's going to continue to unfold. The latest update as of now, and we're going to go into all of that as we go into the story. A body has been relocated in that area. They have found some bones that are decomposed, so it's a good chance that her body has been located. Okay, so I'm going to go into this and show y'all some of the videos in which different people have been speaking on this, because they summarize it relatively in a way in which is short, and you will be able to get the basics of the situation at hand. So we're going to go into that right away. Apparently they're going to be shutting down TikTok sooner than later, which is not a good look, but I want to go ahead and play these clips because I don't know when they're going to go ahead and make it hard to access these videos. So I'm going to play this first one here. so y'all can kind of get an idea on the fact that 𝓜𝓸𝓬 was given a raw deal from birth, and this is one of the videos that are going to give us some insight on that.
𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris, as a baby, faced a lot of adversity. She was born to a mother that was addicted to drugs. Grandmother Annette had her first baby at 11 and went on to have 7 children in total, and those children all ran away from home. Now, was it safe to put 𝓜𝓸𝓬 into the care of a grandmother who also may have had a cycle of violence, neglect, and abuse in her childhood and in her home? So the thing is that we placed this vulnerable child into this environment marred by violence, neglect, and there was no resources for her. The school failed her, her mother failed her, the grandmother and aunts failed her, society failed 𝓜𝓸𝓬. And I see some people trying to blame this 13-year-old child, but this child was looking for something that she was lacking, which was love. And she thought she found this in the arms of a 40-year-old man who was the fiance of her aunt and also the father of the 5 children from her aunt. This case is very complex because the body has not been discovered, but we do have evidence that 𝓜𝓸𝓬 is not here with us anymore. But we will get justice for you, 𝓜𝓸𝓬. Now, do you guys think that 𝓜𝓸𝓬, being in this tumultuous environment, could have beat the odds alone? Tell me what you think in the comments.
Alright, y'all, so this was just to give y'all a brief description of the fact that 𝓜𝓸𝓬 had a raw deal from the beginning. She unfortunately was given to her grandmother because her biological mother was on drugs. The grandmother, of course, she had dysfunction in her own life, abusive relationships and things of that nature as well, only to end up having to transition from her grandmother to one of her aunts who unfortunately did not do well by her either. So it's just unfortunate that 𝓜𝓸𝓬, like a lot of young women out here who unfortunately had a raw deal from the beginning because their mothers failed them and their fathers failed them, and they had to be placed in the hands of other dysfunctional family members or foster homes or in the streets, right? So this is the aunt, okay, who 𝓜𝓸𝓬 ended up with. So let's just take a look at this picture here, okay? Let's take a look at this picture. Now let's be frank. The desperation is very obvious for obvious reasons. We have Barney here, okay, who's probably never had a man that even looked close to Mr. Butts have any type of interest in her. Now, trust when I say his looks, I don't say that with admiration. I don't say that as a compliment. But let's just be honest. Let's keep it a buck. Had we not known Mr. Butts had these type of issues, if this was a guy you met in the club, if this was a guy you met in the grocery store, if this was a guy you met coming out the barbershop, let's keep it 100. He's not a bad looking guy. Just about any woman, if she did not know his history, would have taken that chance, okay? He doesn't appear to have that look, and that's why I tell women all the time, looks are very deceiving. I used to work in jail. I've seen a lot of nice looking, handsome criminals and child molesters like you would never even imagine. Criminals, child molesters, they are not just bums standing outside the liquor store looking raggedy, looking dusty, and looking like they have a mental illness because they're talking out their head or screaming at themselves. It's easier to pass judgment on an individual when they are doing things outside of character that you can visually see, okay? But it's even harder when you have these pedophiles, right, who know how to play the part, who know how to still make themselves appealing to women, especially to desperate women. And what I personally feel with matter of fact, what's his name again, y'all, because I don't want to keep calling him Mr. Butts. I forgot his name. Jarvis. Okay, let's get back to the issue at hand. Jarvis already knew, because you have to realize pedophilers, I forgot, I got to keep this, rated G, because YouTube is funny when we use certain words, right? But these pookies, these pedophile pookies, right? Poverty pookies, they know how to opt for the women that are undesirable. He knew exactly what he was doing when he approached Neziah's aunt. Okay, he knew what he was doing. Look at him and look at her. Shannon, yeah, that's her name. Look at her and look at him. Look at him and look at her. Look at her and look at him. Even Ray Charles can see. For her, he was probably the best thing since sliced bread. Okay? And let's keep it real. You have women out here that are color struck. They got a fetish for these light-skinned men, these high yellow men, pretty boy Floyd, the pretty slick back hair, looking like he's somebody pimp, right? She was probably astonished and smitten by the fact a man that looks like Jarvis would even give her any play. And what Jarvis is doing, he is capitalizing off of the fact knowing this woman is not desired like that. So what he did was work his pookie charm on her. Okay, he basically charmed his way into getting with this woman. Okay, and how I know he charmed his way into getting with her was because she even admitted that she knew about his record. So let's go into that, because he has a history of doing this. This was not his first time, but this was his first time where he took it to the extent of actually taking a child's life. Okay, so I'm going to play the snippet here.
When I met him when I was 19, he did tell me his background. He did tell me his background. He gave me the decision. So when I met him when I was 19, he did tell me his background. He did.
So she admits that he told her his background. Okay, Jarvis Butts already had a record of being off the chain, and having the spirit of demonic perversion for little girls. And I'm going to play some more videos in a minute, so let me just go ahead and play this one as well.
Entered a not guilty plea before the court scheduled a calendar conference set for March 7th at 9 a.m. That's when deadlines to file motion hearing dates, and potential trial dates will be set. One of Neziah's adult cousins and staunchest advocates said her story has taken off ever since the preliminary hearing.
There are a few celebrities that have reached out. It's reached some very top tier platforms. So I'm hoping that it moves in the right direction that it needs to go on.
Roxy says one of these celebrities was Detroit's very own 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, who not only said he'd cover the cost to throw a community gathering to honor Neziah's life, but he's also changed his profile picture to this photo of her.
I'm very thankful that 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 decided to step up to the plate and take care of everything, and it's just awesome how the community is coming together all behind Neziah.
Roxy told me her reaction to much of the online chatter that sided with Judge Aaliyah Sabri's observation that those caring for Neziah when she was abused didn't do enough to protect her.
Accountability matters. It's some things that you can be able to forgive your family members for.
Make sure y'all hit that like button, by the way. And again, this is pertaining to the life of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, a young woman who was taken advantage of at the age 11, probably sooner. But as far as what the media is stating, it's been since the age that is when the incident occurred with Jarvis, her aunt's boyfriend, taking advantage of her youth at 11. She did pass away at the age of 13, so no, she was not 13 when he started tampering with her innocence. She was only 11 years old.
You know, and this is just one of those things that I just personally can't. You know, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and everyone involved in it needs to take accountability.
Roxy says she would have never let this happen if she were still living in Detroit 1 year ago. Again, Butts will...
That's important.
This is case 2459617, the people of the state of Michigan versus Jarvis Butts. Charged with count 1, homicide, murder first degree, premeditated. Count 2, child sexually abuse activity.
Fair use.
Count 3, criminal sexual conduct, second degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. With the habitual offender fourth defense notice set for an exam today. Appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Tina Ripley on behalf of the people, P83688.
And good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Makepeace on behalf of the people, P82796.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning to your staff. Neighborhood Defender Services by Ken Reagan, P82125 on behalf of Mr. Jarvis Butts.
Good morning. Neighborhood Defender Service by Cheryl Quick, P83973, also on behalf of Jarvis Butts with co-counsel Lauren Butler, P88126.
And Mr. Butts, state your full name.
Jarvis Butts.
You can have a seat. Any
Record. Jarvis Butts.
Okay. This is calling case number, Mr. Butts has 3 cases. Case number 240-596-1901. Case of Michigan versus Jarvis Butts.
If you're just walking in.
Case number 240-596-1801. Case of Michigan versus Jarvis Butts. And case number 240-596-1701. Case of Michigan versus Jarvis Butts. Appearances from the people.
Yes. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tina Ripley on behalf of the people, P83688.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. Matthew Makepeace on behalf of the people, P82796.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I'm gonna try to speed up just a little bit.
Let's quickly, Mr. Reagan.
Criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. That is for Mr. Butts' biological daughter, and she was around 8 or 9 when the touchings first started happening, and 10 when she was penetrated.
So it's being indicated that he had touched one of his own biological children as well. So now they're bringing up all of his criminal history, which Shannon Barney is what I would like to call her, the woman who was standing by her pretty boy Floyd with the purple gown on. She knew his history of, violating children, and yet she still chose to be with them. And they are bringing all of these issues up in the court, showing that he is a habitual assaulter. Y'all get what I'm saying? I can't say the other SA, so I'm just call it assaulter, okay?
Mr. Butts is a habitual offender, fourth offense notice, mandatory 25 years. And he also has a prior conviction for criminal sexual conduct in the third degree with a person 13 through 15.
Okay, can you background on those 2 cases, please?
Yes, and as it relates to case ending in 618, that is 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. He does have the second offense notice on that, along with the habitual fourth offense mandatory 25. That case is for the sexual assault of a 4-year-old minor. She was 4 years old at the time, and he
also assaulted a 4-year-old. Are y'all hearing the repetitiveness of this man's demonic, perverse behavior with children? This is very sickening. This is a trigger warning video. I should have said that from the beginning, but y'all get my drift. This is very sensitive content, so I understand if this is too much for anybody to take in, but nevertheless, we got to continue.
She was the daughter of one of Mr. Butt's girlfriends at the time, and I would believe her to have contracted chlamydia. And as it relates to the case ending in 617, that case involves the missing 13-year-old 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 Harris. 𝓜𝓸𝓬 went missing on January 9th of 2024 after last being seen alive with Jarvis Butts. Mr. Butts is a serial child rapist and murderer. The evidence will show that
serial child rapist. That means he has been doing this the majority of his life. He has been touching little girls a majority of his life. This is not a one-time thing. Not to say if it would have been a one-time thing, that would have made it okay. But what makes it worse is this man has a history, and the fact that the law has failed so many young girls. 𝓜𝓸𝓬 could have been saved had they would have put this joker away and never given him access to society where he could ruin somebody's life. But as always, being a former correctional officer, I've seen guys like this get off every day. The law does not protect our children. It does not protect women. It just doesn't. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
Jarvis Butts has been sexually assaulting 𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris since at least the fall of 2022, and that 𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris was pregnant with Jarvis Butts' child on January 9th of 2020.
So y'all heard that. She was pregnant when he unalived her, and that is the very reason he unalived her, because she was pregnant and he did not want for it to get out. But no brainer, you big dummy. You think unaliving her was not going to get you exposed? See how the devil works? Let's go.
And that Mr. Butts was aware of this pregnancy. Jarvis Butts was supposed to turn himself in on January 9th of 2024 to serve a year-long sentence for CCW. This date ultimately got moved to February 7th of 2024, allowing him the opportunity and time to take care of his 𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris problem. And that's exactly what Mr. Butts did. While 𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris's body has still not been found, the evidence recovered points to only one devastating outcome. Although Jarvis Butts is currently...
Also, just to give y'all an update, they did find a decomposed body in that area as of yesterday. Yeah, because today's the 18th. It will be the 18th by the time I upload this. So yes, so at this point we believe, and I'm going to check before I log off to see if it was actually able to see if it was her. But you know, with autopsies and stuff, it could take a couple of days or so we may not find out till about a weekend.
Serving a sentence for CCW, that's no excuse for his bond in this case to be anything but a remand. Jarvis Butts has been a convicted child rapist since 2025, as I mentioned, or 2005, I'm sorry. And as I mentioned prior, he is a habitual offender.
Since 2005, y'all. He been taking advantage of little girls. Lord, this is why women stop looking at how these dudes look and look up the fact to see if they got a damn criminal record. Stop looking at how they look and looking to see if they got a damn criminal record. Find out if they are registered sex offenders.
Offender notice with a mandatory 25 years. And if convicted of any of these charges in these cases, that is a mandatory 25. He is an absolute danger to the community and all children.
Yep.
Since getting out of prison, Jarvis Butts has continued to sexually assault children, resulting in now 3 active criminal sexual conduct cases against minors, with no doubt many more out there. The people acknowledge that these charges are allegations at this point, but we're confident in these charges moving forward that the evidence will show that Jarvis Butts not only sexually assaulted and impregnated 𝓜𝓸𝓬 Harris, but that he ultimately killed her in order to cover up the ongoing assaults and pregnancy.
Thank you, Ms. Whitley. From Ms. Quick or Mr. Reagan, any response to the question you made?
Well, I would say, on conjecture side, the one thing she said that is
Next court date will be
nothing from contention.
Okay, y'all, so basically we got the basics. They basically was giving him his charges, what he's up against. I also have it here on let's see if I could okay, all right, I got a screenshot of the actual charges. Let me see if this was it. Okay, no, this is going to be the text messages. I'll go over this with y'all in a few minutes too, and you definitely gonna have to have a stomach for it when I read to y'all the text messages between him and 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. Okay, okay, I'm trying to pull up his charges, y'all. Okay, let me see. It may be. That's not okay. Let me get here. Okay, well, in the meantime, until I figure it out, let me get to this next video right here. I like how this lady kind of broke it down very simple.
I'm not a lawyer, but I am a mother, and there is a case out of Detroit that has absolutely broken my heart. Let me tell you everything you need to know about why this man has been charged with the death of this 13-year-old little girl. And yes, it's what you're thinking. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that this is a circumstantial case. There's no body, no weapon, and no eyewitness.
Correct.
It says that the cause of death remains unknown, which, Judge, obviously Ms. Quick is getting to one of the main issues in this case, and one of the big questions in this case that I anticipate is going to be a defense argument.
We all know that that's one of the big issues here in this case. So I will admit it with your objection of it.
A little bit of context to set you up. This is 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 Harris, and in 2024, which is the year she went missing, she was living with her grandmother, Annette Harris, her aunt, Shannon Harris, and her aunt Shannon's 5 children. 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's biological mother was not in her life.
Now, you are 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's maternal grandmother, correct?
Correct.
You're also her adopted parent, correct?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah.
Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 like that. She only came around now and then.
Now,
so y'all hit that like button as you come in. As they're explaining, as the woman here is explaining in the video, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 was deprived from the get-go. Her own biological mother did not want her, did not mother her. So 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 got pretty much tossed around from house to house, from family member to family member. So she really didn't stand a chance in having a good life because of the women whom was supposed to be her safe haven. Every last one of them failed her. The grandmother, the aunts, her mother. But we'll continue.
the father of Aunt Shannon's 5 children is this man, 41-year-old Jarvis Ramon Butts.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes.
Who's their dad?
That's Barney right there. That's Miss Undesirable, okay, the girlfriend of Jarvis Butts, who she was supposed to be the aunt of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼.
Jarvis Butts.
Jarvis has apparently like 13 kids. He works as a mechanic and he owns an auto body shop with this man whose name is Cordell Wright, aka King. And this body shop that the two own and work at is not too far from where 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 lives with her grandmother. Police say that on January 9th, 2023, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 gets off her school bus, but instead of heading home to her grandmother's house, she instead heads toward Jarvis's shop.
It is January 9th, 2024, 2:54 p.m.
Now, before she reaches the shop, Jarvis and King see her as they are on their way back from picking up a part from the auto store.
On our way back from AutoZone, I believe we forgot something. So we ended up turning back around, going back to AutoZone, grabbed whatever we forgot, came back. And on our way back, we was coming out Harper. Jarvis said, I see my niece right there, she walking. We pulled into Angel's liquor store. I still didn't see her. He pointed across my face, said she right there. She was coming across the street at that time. She got in the truck with us. She spoke, hi King, hi Jay, and we proceeded back to the shop. We started working on the Jaguar, putting the parts back on.
Now, multiple people testify about seeing a little girl with Jarvis on January 9th, the day she went missing, including Jarvis's own sister, who brought her car up to the shop that day.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw 𝓜𝓸 the day she went missing.
From the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw 𝓜𝓸?
At the shop on Harbor Encounters.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
So basically, y'all, his sister is saying that she kind of felt like something just wasn't vibing with her correctly when she saw 𝓜𝓸 up there at the mechanic shop in which Jarvis, was working, because he's supposedly a mechanic. So it's obvious that a lot of people seeing something out of place with the connection between Jarvis and 𝓜𝓸. The sad part is a lot of outsiders noticed it, but her aunt, Jarvis's girlfriend Shannon, her own aunt didn't notice it. Her own grandmother, all the other cousins in the family, and I'm going to show y'all, let me see if I can show y'all a picture right quick as well, just to show y'all. Okay, and of course, like I said, these women here are also family. They're related to 𝓜𝓸, and you can tell there was some, I couldn't find the rest of the pictures, but there was some pictures of Jarvis taking pictures with them. So Jarvis felt like he was king on top of the world around these women who he knew he could get away with doing a whole lot of things to, and do things around them, and none of them would check him for it. None of them would say nothing, would say anything to him for it. Why? Was it because they felt he was just that fine and handsome that they didn't need to call him out, or did they not feel the need to address it because you got some women, they just love the attention of men being around. So even if a man is doing something inappropriate, or they see something is off, they're not really going to address it. Okay. Also, this is a picture of Jarvis Butts with the little girl. So he's been bonding with her for a very long time, and this gave him an advantage in being able to capitalize off of her youth. But we'll get back to the subject at hand. I just want to share that with y'all right quick.
What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Okay. Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her as she was walking. I never saw her face. I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word, or he said it's my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay. But you knew who he was referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
No.
Okay. Okay. And what is it that made you think something different?
I received phone call, a video call from one of his kids' mom. She told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
So based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
His partner, King.
Okay.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 that I saw that day. And I was
Okay, y'all. So I'm just going to
that you
speed
need
up a
time
little bit.
Whew. So again, January 9th is the last time that anyone's seen or heard from 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, and Jarvis is the last person that she is confirmed to have been with. Which leads me to the second thing that you need to know about this case, and that is, while the case is circumstantial, the circumstances are pretty strong. This picture of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 was taken the day that she went missing. And pay attention to her glasses because it turns out Jarvis asked one of the mother of his children if he could borrow her car. But when he returned it, he left something in there.
When is it that Mr. Butts borrowed your vehicle?
January 9th. He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son. I didn't get.
So he borrowed one of his baby mama cars. I mean, something about this dude. I don't know if he had platinum penis, because these women love lending him their cars, their children. This is just a lot to absorb, but we'll continue.
Home to about 9 o'clock, and he came to my house to pick my car.
Is that 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.? When did Mr. Butts return with your car?
The next morning.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Not normal? Okay. Did you notice anything in the back seat that was different?
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with at the time. I believe they were clear around the frame part. I don't know what the ends look like, but I do remember they were clear around frames.
Okay. So you're at the shop. You see your son playing with the glasses. You take them from him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, tell me, what does Jarvis do?
He snatched them from me and said those were his son's glasses.
Okay.
Police also looked into Jarvis's phone location data to track his whereabouts and conduct some searches along those lines to see if they can find anything connected to 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. And they did.
As we did our workup and we're looking at different locations that Mr. Butts had been to, as we start breaking down the phone mapping a little bit more on Mr. Butts' phone, it kind of led us to 7 𝓼𝓬𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. So 7 𝓼𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓱𝓪, there is, it used to be a golf course, which is now shut down. And then on the other side of Berg, there's a parking lot where it has like a vacant building, which used to be the clubhouse for the golf club. And then right behind that parking lot is the Rouge River. We searched the complete river from 8 Mile all the way down past 96 on foot with cadaver dogs, in boats, in the water.
Please hit the like button, everyone. They're basically going over how they were able to collect some evidence pertaining to 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼's disappearance, which ultimately resulted into her being unalived. So they're just basically going over the details of that. And please make sure y'all hit the like button. I really appreciate it.
What evidence did you find?
We collected a pink jumpsuit, like bodysuit style, and then a black hoodie that had a pair of white headphones in one of the pockets, some gloves, a towel, and a pair of red, black, and white gym shoes. That is one of the black, red, and white gym shoes that we collected from the wooded area. That is the black jacket that was collected. It is towards the front of the photograph, kind of behind that tree branch. So yes, that is the paper and the pair of headphones that was recovered from that pocket. So that's going to be the hood of that hooded jacket. We noted that there are several holes in the jacket of unknown origin. That is the pink jumpsuit that we recovered.
So how close was the Rouge River, I guess, to the area that you were searching?
So there was a large parking lot just off of the west side of Berg, and then there was an embankment leading down to the river. I would say less than 500 feet.
Come back for.
Okay, y'all. So, as y'all can see, this is a very, very uncomfortable, gut-wrenching situation. Anybody who's a mother, or let alone just a woman or human being, wouldn't be able to fathom or stomach something like this. But as gut-wrenching as it is, the problem is this is constantly happening. and it's been happening, because here is another young lady who unfortunately suffered the same fate. And I'm going to share the story of Aiyana Sawyer. It's a quick video, y'all, but she unfortunately ended up in a very, very similar situation.
I tell her I love her. It's just to her picture.
A 34-year-old man in Florida got his 16-year-old niece pregnant. Out of fear of losing his family, he took her and her child's lives and threw them into a landfill. On December 19th, 16-year-old Aiyana Sawyer left school alone and never returned home. Her family reported her disappearance, and Aiyana was over 5 months pregnant at the time. Investigators found a love letter on Aiyana's computer about her 34-year-old uncle Jonathan Quiles. They also found multiple abnormal text messages between them on Quiles's phone. The police confirmed that Quiles is the father of Aiyana's unborn child and is related to her disappearance, and subsequently arrested him. According to court testimony, Quiles admitted to his fellow inmates and brothers that he had K.I.L.L., his niece. He was worried that if she gave birth to a child, his family would be destroyed because Aiyana wanted to keep the child and wrote a letter hoping to elope with Quiles. Therefore, he pretended to make Aiyana believe that they would elope together and arranged to meet her at the garbage dump where he worked. When Aiyana arrived at the garbage dump, he...
Question, y'all, what's up with these light-skinned dudes? First Drake, then these two here. I mean, never mind.
cruelly took the lives of Aiyana and her unborn child, wrapped in a blanket and dragged to a nearby landfill. Despite extensive searches by investigators, she has yet to be found. Quiles, 39 years old, was ultimately sentenced to life imprisonment without parole and will stay in prison forever.
I tell her I love her. It's just too...
See, y'all, this is a very, very serious problem, that too many young women lives are being taken behind these old PD files. Now, I'm going to share this post with y'all as well. Turn the music off. 𝓜𝓸 Harris was not grown. She was groomed. He had been messing with her since 11 years old. She was not 11 when she went missing. She was 13. So for 2 whole years, he shaped and molded her mind into what he wanted her to be. Yes, her texts were mature, but that's because she had a grown man brainwashing her for 2 years and talking to her like she was grown. He taught her that. Everybody around her failed her and made her the way she was. I done seen too many statuses from grown women who get fooled by grown men every day saying a little girl should know better. Well, so should you every time you get played. Manipulation is real in the mind game. If a ninja can convince you and you grown, why do you think he can't convince a child? Say it with me, please. 𝓜𝓸 Harris was not grown. She was groomed. I totally agree with Dr. Common. 1,000%. And I'm going to go into the dynamics of that. So the last thing I'm going to show y'all is the text messages. And let me tell y'all something. You're definitely going to have a stomach for this, because it is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a lot. Okay? But just bear with me. We got to go through this. And even though it's uncomfortable, it's cringing, and it's disheartening, it has to be exposed, because we can't heal what we don't reveal. And we have to be able to share this knowledge with our daughters, with our nieces, with young women that are coming up, okay, that are being groomed, but society wants to consider them as grown. But anyway, 42-year-old serial rapist Jarvis has been charged with first-degree homicide and ape. His crimes date back to 2005, even giving one of his victims as young as 4 an STD. Yes, I've heard about that in multiple other sources. He is charged with unaliving 13-year-old 𝓜𝓸 Harris in 2024. They had a inappropriate relationship. Moving on. These are the text message. And this proves that basically 𝓜𝓸 was not grown. You have to realize you have a lot of ignorant people who also have social media accounts. So you had a lot of women, surprisingly more than men, that stated that 𝓜𝓸 was grown, acting, basically making it seem like she enticed this grown man, which we know makes absolutely no goddamn sense. A child cannot entice or seduce a man, okay, into desiring her, but a sexually perverse demonic individual would think like that. These are the text messages that was taking place between Neice and Jarvis, because by then he had already stripped this child of her innocence. So he had already trained her and raised her into the type of woman he wanted, into the type of woman, even though she was not technically a woman, but he had already activated her mind in a form that she was not emotionally developed to handle. And this is what happens when these nasty uncles and these old perverts, these stepdaddies who want to creep into their stepdaughter's room 3-4 in the morning while the wife is knocked out asleep in total denial, not even noticing when her boyfriend or husband crawls out of his bed 3-4 in the morning and he's been gone for about an hour, and you can't sense, wait a minute, I know he went to the bathroom. Unless he's getting ready for work, why is he still not in bed? The audacity of how you have so many women that are so desperate, see all the red flags, but will intentionally overlook them because they want a man regardless. But anyway, let's get to the text messages. This is trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. So this was the text message back when she was 11 years old, September 27, 2022. Harris, PD Pookie says, come on. And neice asks, is you okay? He says, where are we doing it at? Your choice. She replies, you tell, okay, my apologies. She replied twice. Oh, let me start back. Jarvis said, neice says, come on, you okay? Where are we doing it at? Your choice. So this is what Neice is saying to Mr. Butts. Butts replies, you tell me. Harris replies, in the basement, okay? Basically giving him a location. She replies, you sure? And she also replies, our job. So I guess from time to time she would go up to his mechanic shop and he would have her do her thing with him there. Jarvis replies, can you suck my you know what, please? Okay? He further comes back and says, and make sure you erase the messages. Neice replies, K, that is what I plan to do. So all of this is perfect evidence as to he knew exactly what the hell he was doing. And most pedophile pookies, they know what they're doing. So for her to be initiating and having these kind of conversations, he taught this young girl how to do this, because there's no way an 11-year-old knows automatically how to have this kind of conversation with a grown-ass man, or put this way, a grown predator, because I don't consider him a man. She's not going to know how to have these conversations unless she's been groomed or trained into thinking this is acceptable. She didn't learn how to, in other words, she didn't do this on her own. No 11-year-old knows how to have this kind of conversation or how to have this type of dialogue with a man unless he has not been grooming her. Okay? So you can already tell he already knows he's totally wrong. The fact that he's coercing her to delete the messages, and she responds that she planned on doing that, that is because he trained her. He trained her from the beginning. Every time me and you get together, we do this. We can't leave nothing behind. Don't leave your panties behind. Don't leave no text messages behind. So he has already raised her and taught her how to protect him, okay, from getting exposed. Now this is the next text message. Jarvis says, I'm at your house. She replies, damn, we were just there. She goes on, you better not be in my room. I need another phone. And she says again, I miss you. And that's when Jarvis replies, I stole your panties. Butts says, Mr. Jarvis, send me some pictures, please. She replies, don't you still got the other pics? He replies, no. She says, I will send some. Jarvis says, are you naked yet? She replies, no, I don't want to get naked. He says, are you mad? No, she replies back, are you mad I didn't get naked? Okay, so in other words, he has programmed her to please him and to do exactly what he says. Okay, so that's why she's asking him, are you upset with me that I didn't get naked? In other words, he's already programmed her mind to please him and satisfy him and accommodate him. That is what most pedophile pookies do. They groom young girls into pleasing them sexually, pleasing them emotionally and mentally, but at the same time, she's compromising her youth and her innocence and not even knowing that she is, because she does not have the maturity to understand that, right? So anyway, getting to the next one here. Hold on, was that all of them? I don't think that was all of them. Make sure I didn't click out. Okay. Yeah, but those was the text messages. So as y'all can see, right, that was a whole lot to stomach. People been leaving memes, the way the judge was looking at the family when they each took the stand. The 𝓜𝓸 Harris tragedy has me down a rabbit hole at 3 a.m. Why wasn't Jarvis Butts thrown under the jail when he gave the 4-year-old an STD? Absolutely. Another meme, 𝓜𝓸 was failed by her family and the system, left this poor girl to be assaulted and unalived by this POS. So, getting into the issue at hand. The whole bottom line is this. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And if this content is lengthy, it's because I don't upload a lot. And if it's too much to watch or absorb all at one time, just watch half of it and then come back and watch the rest. But this is what's going on psychologically. You have to keep in mind, I've been in a prison. I've worked in a jail in which I've been exposed to men who have committed these type of offenses. And it's not just an offense, it's actually a lifestyle. You have some men who rather be with little girls. They don't want to be with prostitutes. They don't want to be with women younger than them. Meaning women that's probably, 4 or 5 years, younger than them. No, they want children. Okay? And the problem with this is that it's going to be hard for a lot of people to fathom the way I break down the elements, because for one, when you're a normal person, things like this will disgust you. It will not sit well with your spirit. It's very disturbing to the soul and the spirit. I get it. But psychologically, you have men who want little girls. They don't want prostitutes who they can pay for their services. They don't want women who probably willingly, and in this instances, there are women who will give it away for free. They don't want that. And the reason these pedophile pookies do not want grown women is because they have a demonic appetite, a demonic sexual appetite for little girls, because they want someone who has not had that experience. And I'm going to break it down and I'm going to explain it to you, right? When a man is dealing with a little girl who knows nothing, who has no experience sexually, who has not developed emotionally, mentally, basically she has not been able to transition into womanhood. So because she has not been able to transition into womanhood, that gives him a bigger advantage in being able to mold her sexually, mentally, emotionally into what he desires. Okay, so if you get a little girl who has who's emotionally underdeveloped, who lacks sexual experience, what the groomer, what the pedophile Pookie, what he does is he will get that little girl and he will tell her and train her how to sexually please him. This is a trigger warning, but still hit the like button because I want to get this video out into the algorithm. Just because you hitting the like button, it does not mean you like the situation at hand. It just means you support my channel. Okay, so I just want y'all to understand, right? Getting into this, breaking this down to a science. Okay, when a pedophile Pookie gets a young girl who doesn't have experience, he can tell her exactly what to do and how to do it, because she doesn't have any other experiences to make her not please him in the way he looks to be pleased. As a saying goes, it's easier to train somebody who does not have experience to a degree, because you could train that person exactly the way you want to train them to go. But if you're training somebody that's experienced, no matter how many times you show them a specific way, they are going to bring some of their prior experiences into the new training. Okay, it's no different if you've been let's say if you've been a teacher or something like that, and you've been teaching for 30-40 something years, and now you're going to a new school in which they got a different way of training. You're going to bring some of those training skills or the teaching skills that you've accumulated over the years, and you're going to integrate them into the next school. I don't care, even if the school has a different curriculum, if they got different teaching subjects or whatever that they want you to teach for classes, you're going to bring your experience with you. And with the pedophile Pookie, he wants a little girl because she's not bringing any type of experience. Not only that, she's not going to question what's wrong, because she is still emotionally underdeveloped, meaning she still is learning morally what's right, what's wrong, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. She still has not fully developed to know when she's being manipulated. And this is the biggest thing for the Pookie pedophile. He wants a little girl because he wants to be able to convince her that what he's doing to her is not inappropriate. Okay, so if he's telling this young girl, and this is going to be a bit much, but we got to keep it 100. If he's telling this young girl, I want you to come over here and give me a blowjob or whatever the case is, you know what the little girl's going to say? Okay, I'm coming. She's 19 years old versus a grown woman. You want me to do what? Nah, ninja, don't even try me like that. Who you think you talking to? I'm a grown woman. What do you mean you want me to come over here? Young women, little girls, let me say little girls, not young women. Young women are legal and are approaching adulthood. We're talking about little girls. We're talking about little girls under the age of 16 years old. Really, let me say under the age of 17 years old. Okay? They don't know how to question a man about his motives, about his agenda. They are, again, they're not mentally or emotionally developed enough to be able to decipher his intent. Though that womanly intuition skills still have not fully developed to know that she's being used or manipulated. So what they do is they get these little girls, they teach them sexually how to please them. Because a kid can be taught anything by an adult. Kids are taught how to pick up a spoon and eat. Kids are taught how to put on their socks. So if a kid is in the presence of a pedophile, he can teach that little girl how to sexually please him, how to sexually accommodate him. Okay, and I can go further than that, but y'all probably can't stomach it. And I still may go further than that depending on its content, right? But anyway, that's why they want these. That's why they want little girls. Okay. Secondly, when you're dealing with men that are demonically perverse, they want something pure. In other words, they don't want a grown woman who's already had sexual experience. They want to be the first to break you in. They don't even want virgins, because you got some grown women that are virgins. They want little girls because they want to be able to break them in early. They don't want a woman that's a virgin because she still has, if not sexual experience, she still has moral experience, which is why she waited so long, to preserve her virginity. They don't want that. They want a little girl because to them it's fresh meat. They feel like it hasn't been tampered with. Very rarely will a little girl have a body count. Will she have STDs? He wants to be the first to make that child. He wants to be the first to stimulate that little girl. And what happens when that little girl is sexually stimulated, meaning he has done something sexually to her that her body has never experienced, and she has her first climax, she's not understanding that he has introduced her innocence to something demonic. Now, when a grown woman is having sexual relations with a man, she is intelligent enough to know this is just a climax. Okay, this is part of the act that we're supposed to climax. Well, if anything, during this act, during this encounter, we know that that is part of the program. But the little girl, on the other hand, she does not know that. So when her body feels good, only thing that registers in her emotionally underdeveloped mind is that this feels good to her. And she's not understanding that her body is not even supposed to be experiencing this type of stimulation. Her body is not designed or created. Little girls, their bodies are not created for sexual stimulation. They're not created to give or receive, because what ends up happening is when a grown man has had an encounter with a little girl, he's introduced her to a stimulation that she was not mentally or spiritually ready to receive. And you wonder why these young girls around here act grown. And I know y'all done seen thousands of them. The little 10-year-old with the tight pants on, acting womanly. In some instances, some of them are built a little bit more womanly. Why? Because their youth has been tampered with by a demonically perverse pedophile Pookie. And you wonder why they act so grown. Now, you do have some little girls that are grown because they were very promiscuous. Okay? Mama, daddy raised them, taught them better, but they decided to start, being sexually active early at a young age. That's a different exception. I'm not talking about these young girls who made the decision to become promiscuous and were raised not to. I'm talking about the young girls who didn't even get the advantage of being taught that it's inappropriate for a man to even touch you. So when it did happen, she didn't even know how to respond to it. 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, obviously based off the fact that her biological mom wasn't in her life, based off the fact that her grandmother had so much damage done to herself, the fact that her aunt was thirsty and desperate and was so glad she had her pretty boy Floyd, no one was there to protect her. And the pedophile Pookie, he knew this, and that's why he used it to his advantage, because I guarantee you he walked around that house acting like he's God's gift to women, because she, Miss Barney over here, has boosted his ego and made him think he's God's gift to women, not even understanding that he was nowhere near interested in her. He was more interested in her niece and whatever other young little girls was in that family. Because one thing about pedophiles, they not just going to have their eye on one child and not mess with the others. They take that nature with them everywhere they go. And obviously this man was a demon that was sent on assignment to destroy the lives and the innocence of young women. He was sent on assignment to do this, to kill, steal, and destroy the innocence of young women. And it's because you have desperate women like this, these undesirable peasants. They move these men in their house because they don't feel that attractive. So the moment a man gives them some attention, they feel like, oh honey, I got to hurry up and jump on this. It's like getting a new dress on sale. That like if they don't hurry up and buy that dress, they'll never get another one. And that is basically what happened with Miss Undesirable over here. She knows a man that looks like him would never give her the time of day. And again, hit the like button, y'all. I don't say this because he the finest man on this planet, and I get it, because we know what he has done. We're not even looking at him in that manner. And I'm not saying that you should, but I'm just saying, let's keep it real. The way she looked, a man that looked like him, she thought she hit lottery. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, one thing about undesirable women, they'll do anything they can to please their man. And I guarantee you, she's seen multiple red flags, because one thing about a pedophile Pookie, he's going to reveal himself in little ways, but it's up to you as a woman not being so damn desperate that you'll overlook those little red flags. He's sitting your niece on his lap. Every time he go to the store, he want to take just one specific little girl with him all the time. Secondly, why is your niece or whatever always going to the uncle job? I mean, it's one thing if, okay, she go to school and so happen her school is by his job, you know, a special situation like that, and what your uncle would step in and look out for his niece, stuff like that. That's different. But as women, you know better. You're not paying attention to how your child acts when she's around this man. Does she act fretful? Does she act more Jezebel spirited? Meaning she's, you know, holding conversations with him like she's a grown woman, and he's talking back at her like she's on his level. I guarantee you, Barney here, just like her aunts and her sisters, they saw the red flags. This dude been. A pedophile would never change his nature. He may change his suit, he may change his shoes, he may even change that whack-ass hairdo, but he's not going to change his nature. Trust and believe, all the women in that family, they saw it. But because in their mind, he Mr. Good Looking already tooken, they kept overlooking it intentionally, because he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He know how to do his dirt and yet still turn on that charm at the same time. That's what most pedophile Pookies do. Listen, pedophile Pookies are very, very polite. They're very well mannerable. Pedophile Pookies are not mean, obnoxious guys. In some instances, some of them are actually very funny. They're very entertaining. They are a joy to be around because they don't give off mean vibes. But there's a reason for that. It's not because they got morals, and it's not because they're respectable men. It's to get everybody around them comfortable so people can let their guard down. That is what wolves do. That's what lambs in sheep's clothing. No, I mean lambs in wolf's clothing. That's what they do. They put up this nice, polite persona. That's part of the grooming process. You got to be polite. You can't be an asshole and expect women to gravitate towards you. Women by nature, we are suckers. We are emotional. If a man brings us flowers, if a man acts like he loves our children, if a man acts like he likes our dogs, he plays with our pets, if he acts very loving towards our parents, we fall for dumb shit like that, not even realizing it's part of the grooming process to get you comfortable. If not to groom you, it's to get you comfortable enough to where you will leave your own children around them. That way he can start grooming your children. The pedophile Pookie is very, very strategic. This one had a lot of advantages because of his looks. And that's what he used. And they did not even, and she had no clue that you was sleeping with the enemy, honey. You was making a deal with the devil. This man been trying children since 2005, even his own children. This man is a demon, demonic demon. Listen, he got a demon in his semen. In other words, this man is so overly sexually perverse that he has no limits as to how far he will go and how many times he will go, because he been getting away with it since 2005, and here it is 2004, you still doing it. But it's sad. It was going to continue until somebody life got compromised, and it's unfortunate that 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 became the sacrificial lamb. That she became the sacrificial lamb, and he was able to capitalize off of that. Another thing, don't make no mistake about it. You have these undesirable, women. They see the little red flags. They see some inappropriateness going on. But what has happened is her happiness has become more of a priority than a child's well-being. You will be surprised how many women know they smell a rat on these pedophile pookies who they allow to move into their homes, who they allow around their children, and yet they will let their guard down just so they can say they have a man. I know a female like that personally now. Now the only difference is her daughter is a grown woman and in her 30s, but she knew from the start that her 37-year-old boyfriend had the hots for her 30-year-old daughter. In fact, he had inboxed her daughter first, okay? And I guess once he realized he couldn't get anywhere with the daughter, he somehow put two and two together on Facebook who her mother was. So what do you think he did? He got acquainted with the mother, since he couldn't get the daughter, because the daughter was turned off by him. And she's 30 years old, so she wasn't feeling him like that. She wasn't attracted to him like that. So anyway, he gets close to her undesirable mom, who's already feeling like she's on her last leg. You got women out here who feeling like their time has expired with men. So any man that gives them attention or any man that approaches them, they feel they have to gravitate or pick up on any man who is showing them just a little bit of attention. They have no discernment because desperation has stepped in, so they don't even question or have any type of suspicions when a man is approaching them for something. They automatically want to believe, oh, this guy really likes me, he's really feeling me. when in actuality he may be feeling her daughter, and that's what happened. So the dude got with her, the older woman, and she around here walking around with her nose turned up like she got her a prize out the cereal box, and everybody knows that, look, this man did not want you, he wanted your daughter. And what ended up happening was, because if somebody got intentions, they can't hide their nature for but so long. So she started noticing him making passes and saying little things around her daughter, to her daughter. Guess what? Guess how she responds to that? She got mad with her daughter. She got upset with her daughter. Why is you dressing that way around him? Well, why you be looking like that around him? She took her frustrations out on her daughter, because the man was more attracted to her daughter than she was attracted towards her. And you have a lot of these old, undesirable peasant women over the age 50 or more, and they so badly want a man, they take their frustrations out on younger women who they know their no good ass men are attracted to. They rather be mad at their daughters. They rather be mad at their granddaughters. I've seen women put their own children out just to please their poverty pookie. Okay? I've seen women get into arguments and fights with their children because she knew that her man wanted her daughter more than her. And instead of facing the fact that the man just is not good for you, he's only using you to get close to your child, she takes it out on the child. You have women that pull this stunt every damn day. And this is how these pedophile pookies have such an advantage. Ain't no way in the world this Barney here, okay, did not notice. She saw it. She saw it. But she was so infatuated with him wanting her, so she believes, that she didn't pay attention to this man looking at her niece, probably saying little slick stuff to her niece. Come on, as a grown woman, you got to read the room. You got to know when a man is doing something inappropriate. You got to pay attention to how your daughter acts when she's around him. Does she act fidgety? Does she act uncomfortable? Or does she act too overly comfortable? And I don't mean in the sense of that's her dad, she's always hugging up on her dad or kissing her dad because her and her dad are really close. The fact she's always leaving with this man, this your niece. It's just, there's no way. I'm not buying, and neither really nobody is. Nobody's not buying that this woman, along with where's the picture I'm finding? Well, all of these women in the family, y'all can't tell me y'all didn't know something wasn't right with this man. Y'all so happy to have him around y'all overlook everything. Y'all intentionally overlooked it. And he knew that based off of just being a man, that he could get away with that. Barney and the Barnetts, they was not going to question nothing. And the whole time he'd been having this child, who was a baby, who should have been having a blessing of going to her first prom, getting her first car, going to her first dance. That's what she should have been experiencing. Not no grown perverted demonic ninja having her to do things sexually to him, to where this child does not know how to perform as a child anymore. And for the women in the comment sections and all saying that she was grown, basically y'all are mentally challenged, because what y'all are saying is that she asked for that. Anything she was doing was because he raised her and programmed her into being like that. And that is why these pedophile pookies, they intentionally go for young girls. And you got to realize, everything this young woman I went through, she was looking for love. And they love, and that's another thing. These pedophile pookies, they love to get little girls who they know have self-esteem issues, that they know are struggling with their identity, that have been through some misfortunes. They want to get broken little girls who they know didn't have fathers in their lives, didn't have real mothers. Pedophile Pookie, he knew that. And so much to the point, all of his baby moms confided in him, to the point he was even able to use their car. Just they put him on his pedestal to where he felt like he can do whatever he wanted to do, whenever he wanted to do it, and to whoever he wanted to do it to, not realizing he can't stomach even being with a woman that looked like her. Trust and believe, every time he laid with her, he hated it. He hated it. Once you get used to having encounters with children, that's the only thing that will stimulate you. Nothing about her turned him on. Period, point blank. While she would have sat up there the whole time, cock up like a big, barracuda, thinking that he's so into her and feeling her. The whole time, this dude is probably visualizing that he's with a child just so he can get off. But for where he's getting ready to head, he's going to go to prison. Let me tell you something. Being a former law enforcement, inmates do not respect pedophiles. He light skinned, got good hair too. They're going to have a wonderful time with him in there. They're going to be passing him around like a blunt. So I hope he get ready. Not to mention, that is one of the most dishonorable charges you could ever be locked up for. Inmates do not respect pedophiles, rapists, molesters. They don't respect. You better off coming in there with 3 bodies under your belt. They will respect murderers before they respect pedophiles. And he's not going to be able to lie about his charges because it's all over the news. You know what I mean? As soon as he go into the prison, they're going to know what he in there for. And guess what? The guards are not going to care. They're going to let them inmates have their way, because people take that personal. You have inmates who can't see their children because they got to do life, and they just feel like that's a weak criminal offense because you're taking advantage of someone that's totally defenseless. You ain't in there for no gang banging because you're a Crip and you was representing and took out one of the Bloods. He will never be respected for how he took that little girl's life. Don't be surprised if we hear later on down the line somehow they found his body somewhere in prison and nobody don't know how it got there. The inmates ain't seen it. The prisoners ain't seen. I mean, the officers haven't seen it. Nobody knows nothing. They just know they found him in the cell, unalived, and they gonna run with that narrative that he unalived himself. They ain't even gonna care to look into it. They don't respect ninjas like that. I hope he know where he going at. It's gonna be a totally different culture shock, and guess what? He deserved every bit of it. That's gonna be his karma. Because you got around the undesirables and it was stroking your ego, making you think you're the best thing since sliced bread, and you use that to capitalize off the innocent of 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, who should have not been used as a tool for your own nasty, demonic, sexually perverse fulfillment. But see, God got a plan in this, because while he's in prison, let's see who else Barney ends up with. And not only that, she got to walk that hall of shame. Yes, Miss Shannon here, boo-boo, you gonna walk that hall of shame. We recognize your face. We know who you are. Everywhere you go, you're going to be known as a walking disgrace. Everybody's going to get their karma. Because see, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, she's in heaven. She was a child. So God is not going to hold her accountable for the decision she made here, because he already knew she was at a disadvantage from the day that she was born. And God gave them opportunity to have that child so they could be a blessing to her and be an asset to her life. But instead, they put this child in harm's way. And for that, all of them are going to answer. Mark my word. Okay? So anyway, y'all, I will leave it at this, and make sure y'all hit that like button before y'all leave. Also, for anybody who's just coming in and catching, keep in mind a body has been found. They found some decomposed bones. If it is confirmed to be her, which I have a feeling it is, I will update you guys. If I don't update y'all on the video, I'll update it in my community tab. But definitely, my heart goes out to 𝓜𝓸. Beautiful girl. She could have brought so much to the world, you know, and it's just unfortunate that she was dealt a bad hand from the moment she was born. And I know God has mercy and grace, and she's in a place now in which no more harm or endangerment can be done to her, okay? But as for Jarvis and Barney, on the other hand, they can go straight to hell, to the pits of hell, and never come back for all the hell I care. Anyway, I know it's been long, but it's been a while since y'all seen me or heard from me. Leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Please hit the like button once again before you leave. And again, until next time, y'all take care.